डॉक्टर बाबासाहेब आंबेडकर ओपन यूनिवर्सिटी.
Namaskar and good evening, friends. I am Dr. Dhaval Pandya. Welcomes you all from the Chaitanya Studio of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Open University. Today we are going to learn about MBA SAM 2's subject, Human Resource Management. This lecture is in continuation with previous one. The code of this subject is MBA02C202 and Block-2, unit number 6, Performance Appraisal. We'll start with this. Okay. Unit number 6, Performance Appraisal, Syllabus, Introduction, Concept of Performance Appraisal, Goals of Performance Appraisal, Objectives of Performance Appraisal. 6.5 is the Performance Appraisal Process. 6.6 Benefits of Performance Appraisal. Then Performance Appraisal Methods, Performance Counseling, Problems of Performance Appraisal, Effective Performance Appraisal. Then Summary. Okay. We'll start with, in previous lecture we could cover all these things up to Performance Appraisal Methods, right? So concept we covered, goals, objectives, process and benefits, and finally methods. In today's lecture we will try to cover performance appraisal methods. Okay, that was two. We could cover half of the points. Okay, in today's lecture. Okay, performance appraisal methods. In last lecture we cover 1, 2, 3 methods. In this lecture we will try to cover remaining methods, like in fourth one, force choice method. What is force choice method? Force choice methods. Okay, the force choice appraisal is a special type of checklist, but the rater has to choose between two or more statements, all of which may be favorable or unfavorable. The appraisee's job is to identify which statement is most, or in some cases least, descriptive of the individual being evaluated. The major advantage of the force choice methods are, since the appraisers does not know the right answer, it reduces bias first. Second, it looks at overall performance. And third, it is based on the behavior of the employees. Now, behaviorally anchored rating scale. These scales combine major elements from the critical incident and graphic rating scales approaches. The appraisers' rates are employees basis on items along continuum, but the point are example of actual behavior on the given job rather than general description or traits. Behaviorally anchored rating scale specify definite, observable and measurable job behavior. Examples of job related behavior and performance dimensions are generated by asking participants to give specific illustration on effective and ineffective behavior regarding each performance dimension. These behavioral examples are then rather than into appropriate performance dimensions, those that are sought into dimensions for which they were generated are rated. This method has few advantages. These advantages are: first, it does tend to reduce rating errors. It assesses behavioral overall trait. And third, it clarifies of both the employee and rater which behavior cannot good performance and which cannot bad. Now 6, group order ranking. What is group order ranking? Okay. The group order ranking requires the evaluator to place employees into a particular classification, such as top 1/5 or second 1/5. Evaluators are asked to rank the employees in the top 5%, the next 5%, the next 15%. So, if a rater has 20 subordinates, only 4 can be in the top 5th, and of course, for most, it must also be related to bottom 5th. The advantage of this method is that it prevents a rater from inflating their evaluation so everyone look good, or from homogeneous the evaluators for everyone is rated near the advantage outcome that are usually with the graphic rating scale. It has few disadvantages. First is, it is not good if the number of employees being compared with small. It is the extreme. At the extreme, if the evaluator is looking at only 4 employees, it is very possible that they may all be excellent, yet the evaluator may be forced to rank them into top quarter, second quarter, third quarter, and low quarter. B. And another disadvantage, which plug all relative measures, is the zero sum game. Consideration: this means any change must add up to 0. For example, if there are 12 employees in a department performing at a different level of effectiveness, by definition 3 are in the top quarter, 3 in the second quarter, and so forth. Okay. Third, because comparison are relative, an employee who is mediocre may score high only because he or she is the best of the worst. Similarly, an excellent performer who is matched against set of competition may be evaluated poorly when his absolute terms his or her performance is outstanding. Now 7, individual ranking. The individual ranking method requires the evaluator merely to list all the employees in an order from highest to lowest. Only one can be the best. If the evaluator is required to appraise 30 individual ranking methods, carries the same pluses and minuses as group order ranking. 8th, paired comparison. The paired comparison method is calculated by taking the total of n minus 1 bracket over n square 2 comparison. A score is obtained for each employee by simply counting the number of pairs in which the individual is the performed number. It ranks each individual in relationship to all others on the one-on-one basis. If 10 people are being evaluated, the first person is compared with each of the other 9, and the number of items this person is performed in any of the 9 pairs is tabulated. Now, ninth, management by objective. Management by objective we know is as a MBO, is a process that convert organizational objectives into individual objectives. It can be thought of as considering of 4 steps: goal setting, action planning, self-control, and periodic reviews. And in goal setting, the organization's overall objectives are used as guidelines from which departmental and individual objectives are set. At the individual level, the manager and subordinates jointly identify those goals that are critical for the subordinate to achieve in order to fulfill the requirements of the job as determined in job analysis. These goals are agreed upon and then become the standards by which the employees' results will be evaluated. Second, in action planning, the means are determined for achieving the ends established in goal setting. That is, realistic plans are developed to attain the objectives. These steps includes identifying the activities necessary to accomplish the objectives, establishing the critical relationship between these activities, estimating the time requirement for each activity, and determining the resources required to complete each activity. Then self-control refers to the systematic monitoring and measuring of performance. Ideally, by having the individual review his or her own performance, the MBO philosophy is built on the assumption that individual can be responsible, can exercise self-directions, and do not require external controls and threats of punishment. Finally, with periodic progress review, corrective action is initiated when behavior derives from the standards established in the goal setting phase. Again, considering with MBO philosophy, these manager subordinate review are conducted in a constructive rather than punitive manner. Reviews are not meant to degrade the individual but to aid in further performance. This review should take place at last 2 or 3 times a year. Few are the advantages of MBO, management by objective. First, it is result oriented. It assigns the planning and control functions and provides motivation. Second, employees know exactly what is expected from them and how they will evaluate it. Third, employees have a greater commitment to objectives that they have participated in developing than to those unilaterally set by their bosses. Now, 10th 360-degree appraisal. The 360-degree feedback process involves collecting perception but a person's behavior and the impact of the behavior from the person's boss or bosses, direct reports, colleagues, fellow members of project item, internal and external customers, and suppliers. Other names of 360-degree feedback are multi-rated feedback, multi-source feedback, full circle appraisal, and group performance review. 360-degree feedback is a method and a tool that provides each employee that the opportunity to receive performance feedback from his her supervisor and 4 to 8 peers, subordinates, and customers. 360-degree feedback allows each individual to understand how his effectiveness as an employee, co-worker, or staff member is viewed by other. The most effective process provides feedback that is based on behavior that other employees can see. The feedback provides insight about the skill and behaviors desired in the organization to accomplish the mission, vision, goals, and values. The feedback is firmly planted in behaviors needed to exceed customer expectation. People who are chosen as raters are usually those that interact routinely with the person receiving feedback. The purpose of the feedback is to first assist each individual to understand his or her own strengths and weaknesses. Second, contribute insights into aspects of his or her work needing performance, professional development. Following few are some of the major consideration in using 360 degree feedback. These are basically concerned with how to select the feedback tool and process. Second, select the raters. Third, use the feedback. Fourth, review the feedback. And fifth, manage and integrate the process in a larger performance management system. Okay, with this note, we conclude our lecture. What type of questions can be asked from these lectures? Then we can say how many methods used in performance appraisal, describe in detail. We could cover from 5 to 10 today. What is management by objectives? Describe in detail. Then, what is 360-degree appraisal? Describe in detail or discuss. Then, group order ranking. Short notes can come. Behaviorally anchored rating scale. Short notes. So, friends, with this note, we conclude our lecture. This will be in continuation with other lecture also. So, till then, goodbye and take care. Thank you very much.
स्वाध्यायः